When a band relies on as grotesque an aesthetic as possible, it's not surprising some of their members might have a tendency to stir the pot. For Slipknot's Corey Taylor, however, causing conflict with other artists might be more than just a habit at this point. When it comes to musicians who are capable of starting a fight in an empty room, Machine Gun Kelly gives Corey Taylor a run for his money. The man born Colson Baker has had his share of public feuds, so it was only a matter of time until he and Taylor would collide. The beef sizzled after Taylor appeared on Cutter's Rockcast in 2021. In the interview, he admitted to not being a fan of modern rock bands at all, before clarifying that he really disliked one particular demographic of new artists in particular.
Well, the artists who failed in one genre and decided to go rock, and I think he knows who he is.
Whether or not he was referencing Baker, who started as a rapper before transitioning to a more pop-punk sound, MGK thought the crack was about him. Seemingly in response, Baker decided to make a suspicious comment at one of his concerts that was almost certainly directed at Slipknot. While he didn't address the band by name, fan-shot video shows the young artist telling his audience how glad he was that he wasn't 50 years old and wearing a mask while performing. After all the passive aggression, Kelly finally addressed Taylor by name on X, formerly known as Twitter. He claimed that the Slipknot singer contributed to the MGK album, Tickets to My Downfall, but his verse was so bad that it was ultimately cut. Taylor replied, whipping out receipts to say he pulled his contribution after Baker made a suggestion for how he should track his vocals. Baker retorted again, saying it was because Taylor's vocals were subpar. In the Life in Pink documentary, however, Kelly admitted he should have handled the situation differently, but he didn't appreciate how Taylor attacked his success. Kanye West can't keep his name out of the headlines for too long, and is a proud part of the elite group of musicians dropped by brands following huge controversy. In 2015, he upset the wider rock and roll community when he performed at Glastonbury and said he was, quote, the greatest living rock star on the planet. Corey Taylor seemed to take his message all too seriously. In a recorded response for Music Choice, Taylor sat down in a chair and delivered a message to West emphatically refuting his claim.
The fact that you had to tell people that kinda says it all.
Taylor went on to compare West to somebody who openly brags about having a lot of sexual encounters, stating people with that tendency rarely have the numerous experiences they claim to. In 2020, in a conversation with Loudwire, Taylor's stance toward West appeared to soften. He expressed his concern for the artist's mental health, especially after the rapper announced his desire to run for president. The Slipknot frontman elaborated on the issues he thought West might have and hoped he would get help for them before it was too late. In 2022, though, Taylor took aim at West again, criticizing the rapper for the $200 price point and release strategy for his album Donda 2. As of spring 2024, West has yet to respond to any of the barbs. However, it's safe to assume he doesn't appreciate Taylor's inability to stop talking about him. Chris Fehn's departure from Slipknot shocked the fans. Having been a part of the Iowa metal machine since 1998, the percussionist and backing vocalist hit the bricks in 2019. However, the real reason Fehn left Slipknot raised eyebrows as he filed a lawsuit against the group, claiming he had been cheated out of money owed to him throughout the years. In his filings, Fehn pointed the finger directly at his bandmates Sean Cran and Corey Taylor for the disputes. In an interview with Vulture, Taylor explained that Slipknot had always operated on an equal footing, saying everyone gets their fair share of the profits and there was no monkey business taking place behind the scenes. He also brought up the topic of Fehn, saying, "The less I say about Chris, the better. Let's put it that way." Eventually, Fehn dropped the lawsuit against the band and even indicated that he hoped to rejoin Slipknot in the future. While this might have indicated that all matters were resolved between the parties and everyone was pals again, it might not be as clear-cut as that. In 2023, Fehn appeared on the Drum for the Song podcast and discussed his time in the band. In the interview, he explained that he really only ever enjoyed performing, and many of the more logistical aspects of being a musician really turned him off. Slipknot might have taken masked metal to the mainstream, but they were by no means the first band to incorporate this gimmick into their persona. Before the Iowa group was even a concept, The costumed Gwar ran wild and delighted fans with their unique brand of intergalactically brutal jams. In many ways, Gwar paved the road that allowed Slipknot to headbang their way to success. Sadly, in 2002, Corey Taylor posted on Slipknot's now-deleted message board to address fans about the tumultuous state of his band, but he couldn't help but throw some barbs at Gwar in the process. The singer said the band would hang up their masks and overalls before they lost relevancy like Gwar had. In a follow-up message, Taylor suggested he was a fan of Gwar, but he was only stating facts about their position on the music totem pole. Gwar's frontman, Dave Brockie, aka Odorous Orungus, released a lengthy written statement on January 1, 2003, where he laid into Taylor and Slipknot for daring to insult the group. In one section, he wrote, "People will eternally remember you as the scary clowns who had the lead singer that whined like a little every time he got in print." A few years later, it was clear that Brockie hadn't forgotten what Taylor had said about his band. He brought up the Slipknot singer to FHM, particularly calling Taylor a big whiner for comments he'd made about how hot Slipknot's costumes were to wear. Considering Gwar dresses in full armored alien suits, Brockie's annoyance about that point was fairly unsurprising. After dominating the music world with Slipknot and Stone Sour, Corey Taylor decided to branch out and also find time for his solo projects. Of course, he couldn't play every instrument himself, so he recorded music and went on tour with other musicians, including bassist Jacent Christopher. It wasn't widely publicized at the time, but Christopher was fired from Taylor's band in 2021. In 2023, Christopher opened up about what led to his departure on his Facebook page. The musician explained how he informed Taylor in August 2021 that he had COVID-19 and would miss the start of the tour. However, since they had rehearsal the day before, Taylor reacted angrily to the fact that Christopher showed up at practice knowingly sick. While Christopher explained that he was vaccinated and he didn't know he had COVID, he apologized to Taylor nonetheless. Afterward, Christopher claimed he was ostracized, writing, "Corey and his entire camp shut me out. It wasn't long after that I started to get wind of some people saying I was a Trump supporter, had a fake vax card, and tons of other awesome like that." Furthermore, Christopher claimed he was blackballed from the music industry, before concluding that most of the music he did with Taylor was, quote, absolute garbage. In a now-deleted Instagram post, Taylor's wife, Alicia, claimed Christopher was fired for failing to respect the testing protocols, not because he had COVID. As one of the most important rock bands of the 1990s, Korn received attention from beyond the music press, with band members getting fairly unique promotional opportunities, including a modeling gig. Unsurprisingly, the heavy metal community can be iffy about their figures branching out in this way, and there were more than a few groans and facepalms when Korn's then drummer, David Silveria, posed shirtless for a Calvin Klein ad. One person who was incensed by Silveria's decision to work with the global fashion brand was Corey Taylor. In a conversation with Spin in 2000, Taylor raged about how upset the collaboration made him when he first saw it. During the interview, the singer proceeded to burn the magazine that featured the ad and proclaimed, "People like that are destroying music." In an interview with Kerrang!, Korn's vocalist, Jonathan Davis, admitted that even Silveria's own band had an issue with him doing the advert. He added that there was no beef between Korn and Slipknot, though there certainly was lingering tension between Silveria and his masked metal peers. In 2015, a fan sent Taylor a screenshot on X that looked to be a comment from Silveria about how he dealt with Taylor's jibes to the press. In the message, Silveria claimed to have seen Taylor at a music festival and threatened him with physical violence if he ever spoke negatively about him again. However, Taylor denied this event ever occurred. For many years, Nickelback was the most hated band in the music industry. Unsurprisingly, it became tough for them to keep track of all the haters over the years, though frontman Chad Kroeger appeared to pinpoint Taylor as one while speaking on the Metal Covenant podcast. The vocalist reflected that Taylor has said some pretty mean things about him in interviews, with the Slipknot vocalist particularly stating that Nickelback's hit songs aren't exactly the accomplishments people might think.
He talks about how easy it is to write a hit song. Well, show me. Show me. Write one. I've yet to hear one.
The Nickelback singer went on to criticize Slipknot for relying on masks and outrageous antics on stage to maintain notoriety. and suggested Taylor only pursued a career with Stone Sour because he wanted people to see what he looked like without a mask. In an interview with 98 KUPD, Taylor denied ever saying writing hit songs were easy.
I don't know what the hell planet he's living on. Apparently it's Planet Kroeger because there must be good weed there because he's an idiot.
Taylor also couldn't help but lay in another insult by pointing out he was voted the sexiest man in rock while wearing a mask, whereas Kroeger was voted the ugliest twice. When Justin Bieber hit the height of his popularity in the 2010s, it became an online sport to dunk on him. Whatever the Biebs did, no matter how minor, folks online would be quick to scrutinize his every move. Surprisingly, Corey Taylor wasn't one of these people, at least not initially. In a 2012 interview with Revolver, Taylor praised Bieber's natural ability and admitted he had tried to arrange a collaboration with the singer to perform the internet-created mashup of their songs. According to Taylor, Bieber was visiting children's hospitals that day and was unavailable. Sadly, Taylor's respect and appreciation for Bieber appeared to dissipate by 2015. During a Rolling Stone interview, the reporter mentioned how the Slipknot singer used to be a fan of Bieber's music, to which Taylor replied, "Yeah, until he started becoming a caricature of a spoiled brat." According to The Guardian, Taylor lashed out at Bieber again in 2017. He took umbrage with the fact that the Never Say Never singer was using metal imagery for his own t-shirt line, when his music wasn't even close to heavy. To date, Bieber hasn't responded to any of Taylor's comments about him, but it seems unlikely fans will ever see the dream duet of Psychosocial Baby anytime soon. Even though Slipknot might have its own controversies, they still can't hold a candle to the drama that American death metal band Deicide brings. Proudly anti-Christian in their music and attitude, vocalist and bassist Glen Benton has even burnt an inverted cross onto his forehead at several points throughout his career to leave no one guessing what his beliefs are. That said, the group has inspired a plethora of other metal bands. Speaking on the Talk To Me podcast in 2016, Benton explained how he was told by Slipknot themselves that Deicide was one of their biggest inspirations back in the day. However, the vocalist exploded into a profanity-laced tirade against Slipknot and Corey Taylor when recalling how they had promised to take Deicide on a tour, but it never materialized.
"Oh, we're going to take Deicide on tour with us and blah, 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 blowing air up our back in the day." And she's like, "You know what? You never did a thing for us."
Addressing Benton's comments in a statement to Loudwire, Taylor said, "Out of respect to Glenn and Deicide, I honestly don't remember making a promise like that. I'm not saying someone else in the band didn't say it. All I know is I didn't. Being the singer, I guess I'll be the target." He added how Slipknot accepts band submissions for their tours, but he had never seen Deicide's name come up.